You ever have that feeling where your brain is just packed with information, but when you actually need it, you can't quite connect the dots? Well, today we're diving into this really powerful technique that helps build a bridge between knowing something and truly understanding it. It's a simple little shift in perspective that can honestly change everything about how you learn.
Oh man, we've all been there, right? You've spent hours with flashcards, you've memorized entire lists of words, but the second you're standing on a real street corner and someone asks you for directions, your mind just goes blank. It's that classic, super frustrating gap between knowing a word and actually knowing how to use it.
So this really common problem actually has a name, and for our explainer today, we're going to call it the textbook trap. It's what happens when you learn things in a total vacuum, completely disconnected from how you would ever use them in the real world. Okay, this slide right here gets to the absolute heart of it. Look at that left column. That's your abstract knowledge. It's the raw data, right? Left, right, straight. But look at the right column. That's practical skill. That's the language in action. It's not just a word anymore. It's part of a real command, a description, a genuine question. The textbook trap is when you're super comfortable on the left, but you completely freeze up when you need to do what's on the right. And that's the core issue, isn't it? When knowledge is just these little abstract bits of info floating around in your brain, they're really hard to grab onto when you're under pressure. Without any real-world hooks to hang them on, all those facts you memorized are just, well, they're just data. So how do we escape this trap? I mean, how do we build that bridge from just knowing stuff to actually having a practical skill? Well, the source material for this explainer offers a solution that is just beautifully simple. And there it is. The solution isn't some complicated app or new technology. It's a map, a plain old map. This simple exercise is the key. It's all about creating what's called a practical context, a space where the language finally has a real purpose. So what exactly is a practical context? You know, you can think of it like a playground for your knowledge. The map creates this little mini world, a shared reality where you're not just memorizing words anymore. You're actually using them to do something, to achieve a goal, like figuring out how to get from the library to the train station. So how does this actually work? It's so elegant and simple. Let's break down the steps and see how this completely transforms the learning process. See? It's a perfectly designed little interaction. Just by assigning roles, local and tourist, you instantly create a reason to communicate. The tourist has a clear goal, and the local has the information they need. And step 4, oh, that's the genius part, tracing the path. It's an instant feedback loop. Did you understand correctly? You'll know right away if your finger ends up in the right spot. No ambiguity. But why is an exercise this simple so incredibly effective? This is where we can get into some of the cool brain science behind it. Because it turns out, it's not just about practicing, it's about the quality of the practice. So first off, it forces you into active engagement. Your brain isn't just passively soaking up words, it's actively trying to solve a puzzle. Second, you get what's called contextual anchoring. The word left isn't just a sound anymore, it's a turn you can physically see at a specific corner on the map. It also creates a low-stakes environment. Making a mistake here is just a learning moment, not a catastrophe where you end up on the other side of town. And all of this leads to way, way better retention because we are wired to remember things we do. And you can really see the difference right here. Now, of course, these numbers are illustrative, but the principle behind them is rock solid. Rote memorization, yeah, it might get you a fraction of the way there, but practical application, whoa, the retention just skyrockets. And that's because you're literally building stronger, more durable connections in your brain. What's so amazing about this method is that it points to a much bigger idea. I mean, this isn't just a neat trick for learning a language. It's a fundamental principle that applies to learning pretty much anything. The map is just the tool you see. The real magic is that playground it creates, that safe, contextual space where you get to actually use what you know. If you're learning to code, don't just read about functions, try to build a tiny little application. Learning history, don't just memorize dates, create a timeline that forces you to explain the cause and effect between big events. So ultimately, it all comes down to this one idea: transformation. The real goal of learning isn't just to collect a bunch of abstract facts. It's to develop the ability to perform tangible actions. That map exercise is a perfect example. It turns the abstract ideas of left and right into the real, tangible action of finding your way. And that leads us to a final question for you. Whatever it is you're trying to learn next, Could be a new language, a musical instrument, or some complex theory for work. Ask yourself this: what's my map? What's the practical, goal-oriented playground I can create for myself to turn what I know into something I can actually do?